indeed. And the first thing that he's done is actually qualify for this event, which in itself is a very good confidence boost for him. Because he hasn't really done anything recently, but he has got pedigree, he has beaten good players in the past, and we're about to find out how good he is against Brendan Dolan.
Well, Brendan Dolan is making his 4th appearance on the European Tour this year. He's yet to win a match, though, on the continent. He was seeded in both Venray and Munich. He was automatically through to the second round in both of those events. And then he lost in the first round to...
Gentlemen, first leg is Jordi to throw first. Game on.
Lost in the first round to Jermaine Watemena in Austria in June as well. So Brendan Dolan, it's fair to say, needs a big performance this weekend.
83.
Well, the draw seems to have opened up for him a little bit, and I'm sure he would love a game against his World Cup partner, Daryl Gurney, in the next game. But you're right. Crash course in English for me as well. Getting confused with all these different pronunciations. I'm going to call him Geordie just because that's where I'm from originally.
125.
We had the Ryan Meikle conundrum earlier. I mean, we asked him himself last night, but there seems to be a few variations on a theme there. Anyway, we're off and running here. Dolan against Meeuwisse in the first round here in Riesa.
100.
I think there's been a slight improvement in Brendan's game over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. I think it's taken him a bit of time to get used to. Well, wonderful visit from Geordie. Like you say, he's been on the European Tour this year, but hasn't had any success. But he is playing decent darts. Talked earlier about someone who had thrown the same darts forever, and Andy Hamilton. Brendan Dolan was exactly the same. And then he switched manufacturers.
132.
And I think it just takes a little bit of time to get used to little intricacies in new equipment. I think it's the same for Brendan as it is for Andy Hamilton.
Tops he wants.
73.
Oh, shock horror. We have another Dutch dart player that doesn't mess around. I haven't actually watched Geordie play a lot of darts, but we have another quick player. They're good to watch. There's only one route for Brendan here, and that's 60.
And he was way off beam as well.
64. Jordi require 40.
So 3 bites at tops here for Meeuwisse for a hold of throw. He's pitched that one downwards, double 10.
Team shot on the first leg. Jordi Meeuwisse. Second leg is Brendan to throw first. Game on.
So we're going to have this situation now where the caller, Paul Hinks, is in contrast to us. Meeuwisse off the mark.
100.
I don't think he'll mind. He's got one leg on the board either way.
Well, we'll do a Prince on him. We'll just call him Geordie.
Geordie.
Yeah. Or Jordi.
Well, you'll be happy with that. Yeah.
120.
Hey, as long as he's not from Sunderland, we're not going to call him a Mackham. Yeah. Main thing is he's got the first leg, and he's playing all right.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that he's had some good performances or some notable results of late. I suppose, well, not suppose, I know for a fact
137.
his best performance this year was at the 4th UK Open qualifier, where he eventually lost to Daryl Gurney in the last 16, but his run to the last 16 took in some very, very notable scalps. He beat
95.
Chris Dobie, Kevin Painter, 6-1 by the way, and Peter Wright as well. So that was all over the course of one weekend.
When you're beating Peter Wright at any time, that's a notable scalp.
And this came shortly after he'd entered qualifying school and secured his tour card by winning the final round on the final day.
And that gets him a tour card for not just this year, but next year as well. So he's got plenty of time to get a foothold
100.
into the PDC.
And he's doing that already, because I was looking at his Players' Championship performances this year, the circuit there. He's made $3 grand from that alone this year, including a run to the last 32 in Coventry in May. So he's already finding his feet and trying to establish himself and going the right way about it here as well.
You do find there are players who hit the ground running sometimes from Q School. I mean, James Richardson, for me, has played very, very well this year after
60.
winning his tour card on the first year.
You require 170.
But Jordi, I think, just taking a little bit more time, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just need a run to just get that confidence going, and it could be this weekend because, like we say, I'm not 100% on what Daryl Gurney is going to be like
57
for the winner of this match.
126.
Brendan Dolan has put a little bit of pressure on this.
Certainly has. 69 remaining, double 6 then. Just taking his time.
120.
And it was a good centimetre
Brendan, you
inside the
require
wire.
60.
I fancied him for that after he hit that second treble 19. Brendan Dolan will be very, very thankful that he didn't hit that double 6. The way Brendan's darts go in the board, that's perfect. Even though it was nearly in the 5, that is now perfect. Because he can sneak it under that one.
20.
Hasn't done so. And they're the
Jordan, you
shots
require
that
6.
Brendan seems to have missed on the European Tour this year so far.
Well, double 3 can so often be your enemy. And that's pitched awkwardly as well. He has to go either side here, just a step to the right. He's overcooked it as well, and he's busted score anyway.
Brendan, you require
And
40.
this could be a bit of a let-off here for Brendan Dolan. Could so easily have found himself 2-0 down. Still has to find this double 20.
It'd be interesting to see how Jordi acclimatizes to the Brendan Dolan game, because Brendan's very deliberate. He will take his time.
Game shot on the second leg. Brendan
But as long as
Dolan.
Brendan Dolan's hitting those
Third leg is
doubles,
Jordi to throw first. Game on.
then we've got an even game. Jordi, very get up there and get it done. Look at Brendan Dolan in the
42.
background. He will take his time, go through his routine. He's been doing that very, very well for many years now.
Well, Brendan Dolan was ranked inside the top 16 in the
100.
Pro Tour Order of Merit earlier this year, so he didn't have to qualify for Venray or indeed Munich. But of the last 4 European Tour events, he's had to qualify for all 4. He's only made
41.
one, that was Austria, but he has booked his place here, of course, and in Sindelfingen and in Hildesheim as well. So we will see a lot more of him in the tail end of this European Tour campaign in 2016, and it's a relief for all Brendan Dolan fans and followers, because it looked as though he was on the wane a little bit. And,
140.
okay, he's got a lot to do to get back to where he was. I mean, it wasn't so long ago he was like seeded 4th for some of these events, and here he is having to qualify.
100.
It's a slippery slope. I mean, you can get
you
yourself
can
into
quickly-
finals. Yeah, if you don't perform over the course of a couple of months, see that ranking slip from 4th, which is where Brendan was, going towards that magical 16th spot. Once you're out of that, it can be very hard to get back in.
85.
Yeah, he's had a torrid time of it elsewhere as well. He made only the last 64 at the UK Open this year. He beat Scott Marsh, the amateur, but then lost to
60.
Barry Lynn, the other amateur who made a name for himself that weekend.
Bouncing Barry Lynn. God, he made a name for
Absolutely.
himself that weekend, didn't he?
And that was after he lost 3-0 to Kyle Anderson in his World Championship opener as well. Did make the semis at the World Cup, of course, with Daryl Gurney.
135.
That's the one bright spot of his year so far. And made the last 16 at the World Match Play too.
100.
That was
Brendan, you
that was a
require
really good
41.
performance, I
Against
think,
Barney.
against Van Barneveld. That was a turning point for Big B.
Big B from Belcoo in County Fermanagh, 43 years of age, looking at double 16.
25.
Not to be.
Jordi,
but
you require 158.
There's one player in the world of darts who loves double 16. It's Brendan Dolan, because of the way his darts sit. And he's going to come back for a corner of the board that he does like. No mistakes this time, Brendan.
98. Brendan, you require 16.
But yeah, that performance at the World Match Play against Van Barneveld for me really reinvigorated his confidence to do
Game
things like
shot on
that.
the third
That corner of the
leg.
board,
Brendan
he is
Dolan.
deadly when he's on.
4th leg is Brendan to throw first. Game on.
And he might be shaking his head. I tell you what, Brendan, that was a very valuable break of throw, because now you are in the driving seat.
well, he's often his own worst critic, and he does this. Brendan Dolan, he sort of tells himself off, and you can see him admonishing himself and just having a word with himself at times. And it's paying dividends here.
Well, earlier in the season, Brendan was having a real torrid time of it. He wasn't playing at the standard he's used to. But I think
44.
the real crux of where his darts are coming from now is back at the World Cup, because he played really, really well there. He showed some real fighting spirit. And sometimes when you put on your country's colours and play with an incredible partner in Daryl Gurney that he had there, really invigorated his
60.
season. And then his performance after that, yeah, he didn't play particularly well in Vienna, but at the match play,
140.
much better, and he seems to be going in the right direction.
Yeah. That's a pretty fair assessment of where Brendan Dolan is right now. He would love a good run here. He has a good opportunity to do it as well, given the way this section of the draw is shaping up.
131.
Withdrawal of Michael van Gerwen. I mean, Brendan will not be looking too far ahead, but I mean, he wouldn't be human if that wasn't in the back of his mind right now.
140. Brendan, you require
Jordy's going to try and put some
130.
pressure on him. He can't do in this leg because Brendan, 130 after 9 is very, very tricky indeed. Very good darts. He probably won't go for the bull if he hits a 60, but bull might be the target.
65.
He'll come back for 65, which is very interesting because he loves double 16. I am a big advocate for treble 11 here.
59.
Single 11, 14 tops.
You require
Open
65.
targets, no possible deflections, a treble 11, and all of a sudden you've got your favourite double.
Yeah.
But will he go 25?
Will he take your advice? Let's see which way he goes. And he's gone for the 25s for tops. So, Brendan Dolan
Game shot on the fourth
consolidates that breaker's throw. And he leads by 3 legs to 1.
Sometimes professional dart players just do what you say and prove you right. Brendan Dolan on this occasion said, right, let's not bother talking about treble 11. Let's just go the old school way of 25 tops. But Meeuwisse,
not done with just yet.
not at all.
Third 180 of the match, the second for the
60.
Dutchman. And a chance here because he's already got a cushion. Admittedly, it's on his throw. But he'll just want to stop this run of Dolan legs. He's won the last 3 now, the Ulsterman.
If you look at the throw of Brendan Dolan, there's a little wiggle of the dart as it goes to his face, and that's on purpose.
85.
But with Geordie, straight back and forward. I like it a lot. Look at the way it goes into the board. With those kinds of darts, you can really, really build something. I think he's got a lot of talent, this young lad.
Yeah, another indication that the game is in rude health. The future of the game is in rude health, given what we've seen.
100.
From
You require 81.
Cluster of players who've qualified and made it through to the European Tour events this year, both from the UK and the continent itself.
49.
And it just seems that everybody who's coming through who's younger than we are, they're taller, they're throwing better.
Leaner, fitter,
They've
stronger,
got better tans.
better. Makes you sick.
It really does. Sometimes the veterans get one over the kids, and that's what
60.
Brendan's trying to do.
You require
Yeah.
I think
32.
he wouldn't mind us saying he's a veteran now, Brendan Dolan.
Well, I think he may have given up the ghost with this particular leg, although, yep, there it
Game
is.
shot on the
Meeuwisse.
fifth leg. Meeuwisse. 6 leg is Brendan to through first. Game on.
Brendan won't mind that too much. He wasn't in that leg. But when you're going to go missing on the other guy's throw, as long as it's not the last leg in a decider.
Yeah, he'd won 3 on the spin, so no particular
140.
damage done on the Meeuwisse throw. Dolan made the last 16 here last year in Meeuwisse. He beat Robert Marjanovic 6-5 in his
27.
opener. Had more than a big scare that day, or in that particular match, and then eventually bowed out at the hands of Chizzy 6-2 in the second round. Chizzy here this weekend. He'll be on stage tomorrow. The top 16 seeds in the Pro Tour Order of Merits automatically securing their places in the second round onwards.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Dave Chisnell's jet
59.
lag's like. He was in Perth last week.
Well, it will have an impact. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely right.
And the other players who were involved down under, Kyle Anderson, for example, was involved as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares. No jet lag problems though for Brendan Dolan, and no problems with his scoring in this particular leg.
125.
Yeah, if you've
Brendan, you
ever
require
played darts with jet lag,
124.
it's very, very tough on your head. Not so much on the body, but on your mind. It can play tricks on you.
That's Dolan's second 180 of the match, by the way. He's in good shape here, despite straying into the 5s,
40.
because he has a cushion on his throw here.
He's going to need it, yeah.
206, yeah, so it's just as well that he has.
100. Brendan, you require 84.
I think it's just experience in this game that's keeping Brendan Dolan in front. There's a lot to admire about Jordy Meeuwisse's game, but at the moment, Brendan Dolan just looks in control, and he's licking those lips because he wants double 8 and cleans it up lovely.
Sixth leg. Brendan Dolan.
That's exactly what he wanted to build that confidence.
First. Game on.
Yeah, an 84 check out, a 180 in there as well. That was an eye-catching leg from Brendan Dolan.
41.
He visibly is playing better than he has been in the European Tour earlier this year. Watched a lot of his games. I think he's great to watch. But he is playing better right now. And he will relish the fact that his section of the draw has opened up. And he'll want to take advantage and get himself back towards those 16 seeds.
95.
The whole winning breeds confidence thing is so true, especially at the moment because there's so many games to be played. This month, we've got Riese this weekend, we've got Mulheim next week. Then we're on
100.
to Stuttgart at fantastic Glaspalast.
Yep. September is a very, very busy month. It's development tour this weekend as well. We've got the Champions League in Cardiff
45.
at the end of September. Also 3 Players' Championship events in Barnsley back-to-back as well. It is a busy time.
It's a month that will sort the men from the boys. It
is.
really
It's
will.
A pivotal part of the season, pivotal part of the campaign.
100.
And the next thing you know, it's the World Grand Prix again.
Yeah.
And Robert Thornton has to defend that title that he so magnificently won last
100.
October against MVG in the final. What
Yeah.
a tournament that was.
It's astonishing that that's barely 12 months ago, and yet Robert Thornton has had a real torrid time of it of late, especially as we've seen in Europe this year as well, and relegation from the Premier League and other
100.
mishaps along the way. It's astonishing that approaching 12 months ago he was conquering Michael van Gerwen in the final in Dublin of the World Grand Prix.
140.
Speaking of the World Grand Prix, if you look at the date on the back of the shirt of Brendan Dolan, you will find the day that he hit his historic 9-darter.
In 2011. Double to starts, first man to do it against Phil Taylor.
Will it be a double for the leg? Yes, it will.
Shot on the 7th
He's
flag.
back.
Brendan Dolan.
Brendan Dolan is back.
A flag is Brendan to
Because that is the
first.
kind of stuff he was
Game
doing
on.
when he was ripping people apart 3 or 4 years ago. That was clinical.
Yeah, 84 checkout, backed up by a 105 checkout now. He's got a couple of 180s to boot as well. This is more like it from the 43-year-old from County Fermanagh.
135.
What's interesting is that he's getting married soon.
Oh, that's probably why he's
Yeah.
had this upsurge in form then. Needs to
100.
Seen a
shell
few
out
of his
for a few
friends
things.
get married this summer. He was at John Henderson's wedding with myself. And we had a very good time in honour of John and Veronica. But it's Brendan's turn very soon. It's time to start saving for the two of you. And I hope they have a wonderful
100.
life together. Brendan's a fantastic catch.
And is the future Mrs. Dolan here this weekend? She normally accompanies Brendan when he's away in Europe.
I'm not 100% certain
85.
if she's here, but I'm sure if she isn't, she'll be here in spirit. Definitely be Gina on from home. Brendan, a very, very popular lad in the practice room. Very funny, loves a laugh. But when he gets those
58.
earplugs in, he's very focused. And at the moment, you just see there's a bounce in that step of his.
Yeah, £1,500 guaranteed for players making the second round here.
100.
So that should cover out, or cover the, I don't know, the band at the reception or something like that. Unless he brings in U2 or someone. Who knows? I think he'll need a lot more than that.
I'd be thinking here, 25 leaves 183. So he's got to switch to 19s to guarantee a finish. And does so.
44.
Yordi can actually put him under pressure here for the first time in a few legs.
Well, that's what he needs to do because he's just lost his way here. Dolan's built up a head of steam.
100. Brendan, you
You feel as
require
though there is something left in
164.
Meeuwisse's locker here, but he's got to get it out pretty quickly because this match could soon be over. Especially if Dolan takes this out, 164. You wouldn't put it past him right now. Oh, wouldn't you just? Brendan Dolan to finish in style.
119.
That was a flyer.
Yordi require 116.
Big smile as if to say, yeah, that was close.
Well, it
How
was.
close will this be? He's not going to get a poke at a double. So Dolan, guarantee you, is going to go for a 13 here.
100.
Good
Brendan,
pressure
you
on it, though.
require 45.
Be 13 for that double 16 in the bottom left corner because he has been absolutely brutal on that corner in this match. To close it out, Brendan Dolan has got double 8, which he's also hit in this match.
29.
And he's let him off this time.
Yordi, you require 16.
Well, I was about to say the champagne's on ice, but Meeuwisse, double 8.
Game shot on the A flag.
5-2 becomes
Yordi
5-3,
Meeuwisse.
and all of a sudden
Ninth
it's a
flag is
very,
Yordi
very
through
different match.
first. Game on.
Yordi throwing first here. If he holds, it's 5-4, and suddenly the psychology switches around completely, and Dolan will get jittery. Or could well do.
He could well do, because if you look
100.
at Brendan's face behind Yordi there, it was as if to say, I should be off the stage right now. but he's not. He's got to refocus, and he's got to keep doing what he's done throughout the course of this match, which is hit big trebles.
134.
Like that.
Precisely. Why not for an Irishman to hit 2 big green segments? Said a few years ago, we had a few interviews with players about who they thought was the most underrated person on the circuit. The amount of people that said Brendan Dolan was frightening, because about 3-4 years ago, when he was making European finals against Kim Huybrechts in Holland, in that spell he was absolutely deadly.
Underrated, though, can so often be well, nothing underrated about that from Meeuwisse, but underrated can often blur into underachiever, can't it? That's the trouble sometimes, you know. Players who go close and put in the hours and have notable wins and notable runs, you suspect
59.
there's something stopping them
You're
from going the
81.
And Brendan has won tour events, but he hasn't won in Europe. And he hasn't won this match yet because Jordi Meeuwisse has a double
49.
and a very good chance there to go 5-4 down, but
yeah, it's not
he
the
will
end of the
come
world
back.
because he will be back with Dolan on 208. Dolan, well, he won't be giving up on this leg, but he'll think, okay, this is not the important leg. The important one is the next one when I'm throwing first.
58.
If I can get that in the bag,
You require 32.
not a problem. Doesn't matter whether Meeuwisse takes
Game
it
shot
out,
on
which
the
he has
ninth
done,
leg.
but 5-2
Jordi
has become
Meeuwisse.
5-4.
10th leg is
And
Brendan
Dolan
first.
now just has to
Game
simply
on.
put that out of his mind, focus on the here and now, and rattle in a 12-dart leg for a 6-4 win.
Yeah,
Easier
12
said
darts
than
will
done.
win it. 12 darts will win it. How many times has he had 12 darters in his career?
Well,
60.
He knows that's not the start he wanted, and Meeuwisse, if he can leap all over that and gobble it up, then we could be in for the agony of a final leg decider, and isn't he just leaping all over it with a 180? Absolutely brilliant. What a dagger into the heart of Brendan Dolan, that is.
And that's the one thing he didn't want to hear. When he turned around after hitting 60, he was pleased don't hit a 180. And what has he done? In true Dutch fashion,
125.
he's done it in the blink of an eye.
That was his 4th 180 of the match, the 6th in total.
100.
That's pretty good consolidation of a 180.
Yeah.
Now
4
Brendan's
perfect
behind it.
darts,
He's
but-
behind the he's going to have to hit something big here.
Well, he needs 2 trebles, I feel. And he's not going to get 2,
60.
and he's not got 1.
So he's lost the darts. Now he's got to refocus and pray that Jordi Meeuwisse does not hit treble 20s, but he has done. And he's hit 2 of them.
140.
Killer, absolutely killer for Brendan Dolan, who looks shell-shocked here.
Slightly. He's already had match darts.
You can see the blood almost draining from his face here. The eyes have dropped, and my word,
60.
he's
You're
hit
require
another 60. It's
81.
another sub-100 visit here from Brendan Dolan. And Meeuwisse here, 62 left. He was looking for treble 10 for double 16.
41.
It's on hold.
Well, what Brendan's got to do now is take a deep breath, and he's just done that. Find a little comfort spot and say, right, let's have a good score here. We're probably going to lose this leg, but let's steal it in the last one.
60. You require 40.
Good match this, though, now.
Double top. It's
Game
there.
shot on the 10th leg.
It's 5-5 all of a sudden.
11th and final
Well,
leg
I didn't
is
think
Jordi
we'd get
through
here,
first.
but we
Game on.
really are at 5-5 now. And Jordi has a chance.
Likes his double 20 checkout as well. Does Meeuwisse looks very assured on it, and he's very assured on the treble bed as well.
140.
140, dream start for Meeuwisse here.
Do you think that Brendan Dolan's inability to get over the winning line in Europe this year is in his head?
Well, he needs to find something here.
100.
He needs to find some reserve, because it's just not happening for him. And there we see the body language once again. It's very clear to see.
Going to stay there. And he's been very good at that little bypass dart.
140.
Even though he blocks the bed, he can throw it so firm that he can bypass the first one and just bash it in there.
I was just going to
Very
say,
impressive.
he's done that a few times today, where he's hit the single 20 and then backs it up with 2 treble 20s. His recovery is at times exemplary.
100.
And once again, we see the crestfallen look of Brendan Dolan, and Meeuwisse is just feeding off that, I think, here. 2-2-1 after 6 darts, and another big score on the cards here as well.
100.
Oh, he'll
down
probably
to a finish
take that.
first. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
because
he
that
would.
means there's 180 ahead of Brendan Dolan. It means that Dolan now 140 plus. Oh, I'm afraid it looks like you're going home.
Well, Northern Irish fans would have been hoping for
100.
the dream
Your
ticket, the
require
Dolan-Gurney clash in the
121.
second round, but it might not happen here because Jordi Meeuwisse is closing in on what would be a very, very solid victory, coming from 5-2 down to win 6-5 on his European Tour debut. Good day for the debutant so far.
81.
And that's set that up very, very nicely indeed. He loves the double top. You'd really fancy him from here. Okay, nerves may well play a part, but Dolan, all out at sea here, needs to get close.
Got to get at least this last treble. Has done so.
100.
4 tons is decent
40.
darts, but Jordi Meeuwisse has thrown a lot better in this leg and has given himself this opportunity with 3 darts in hand. Needs double 10 now with dart 2. Gets
Game
it.
shot in the match.
And a really good
Jordi
14-dart leg to
Meeuwisse.
knock out Brendan Dolan, who had match darts earlier on in the match, and he will be absolutely devastated. A debut win for Jordi Meeuwisse.
Yeah, who in his most recent tournament was beaten in the last 16 of the Chemico Open in Rosmalen by Colin Rolos. But he's beaten Brendan Dolan, a player of huge calibre and pedigree. But it's the end of the road for the Ulsterman. There'll be no dream ticket for the Northern Irish fans tomorrow with Daryl Gurney. Dolan is out. Jordi Meeuwisse is through, and we're likely to see, well, we're certain to see, another Dutchman join him in the next round in our next match, because we've got 2 Dutchmen meeting up on stage. Jeffrey de Graaf, Jeffrey de Zwaan, I should say, up against Jermaine Watermainer coming
There
up.
was a great comeback.
Let's hear from the winner.
After 2-5.
Yes, I was really nervous in the beginning, and after that, I played my own game, and it goes good.
I was surprised when you throw the dart, you always touch your nose. Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
From the beginning?
From the beginning, yeah.
So Daryl Gurney is waiting, is next. He has actually problems with his hands, so we don't know if he's able to play. What do you think about Daryl?
Yeah, I don't know. He's a good player, but I don't know if he can play good. I will see tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's a great start on the European Tour. Congratulations, Jordi Meeuwisse.